Let me halfway through. Double drink. What are you going to do, James? What are you going to do about it? Hello, all of you little demons. Jules here for WhatCulture.com. Back again with another episode of the awesomely named and awfully hosted Tues Your Own Adventure, the weekly medieval themed format where I, the crown Jules of WhatCulture.com, take a list chosen by you. Yes, you, the person who kind of has to do 2 intros to this week's episode because I'm not entirely sure if James is actually still ill or not. So I hope that he's not. So as I'm recording this in advance, I'm going to record 2 intros and just delete where appropriate. Okay, here's the first one. Welcome back, James. It's so good to see your gaunt goblin-like face again. It is a pleasure to have you grace our screens once more. Glad that you are well. Big bless, big bless, big bless. And hi, Jazz, by the way. Glad to see that you made it too. Here's the second one. Oh, he was taken too young from us. I'll never get over this. I've only got this picture to remind him of me, or me of him. Actually, it's a picture of Piccolo that my friend Jenko drew, but I feel like the similarities between James's sort of stern but fair demeanour and my Gohan exuberance kind of fit the relationship quite well. What am I going to do without him? Oh yeah, I'll just hire another editor. Moving on. Yes, you get to decide what list I dole out to you each and every week, and this week we have none other to thank than John Doe for their suggestion of video game enemies that you never got to face. And here's the thing, boss battles in video games, we love them, but there is nothing more depressing than having a boss teased on a silver platter with the dinner lid on. It comes towards you, you smell the wafting brilliance of a potentially mechanically different fight and all of the different challenges and skills that are going to have to be put to the test, and then it opens up the lid and it's a big pile of nothing but a bit of maybe a waft of fart with it. Ooh, that's not what I wanted. And that's what we're dealing today. That's the list today. So with this in mind, I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 8 video game enemies you didn't even get to fight. And you know the drill by now. Say hi to me here in the live chat and put your suggestions for next week's episode down in the comments section below. And with that, let's get on with this list. Number 8, Harley Quinn, Batman Arkham Asylum. Now, it's pretty common knowledge that the juiciest of Bruce's Batman has one of the best rogues galleries going, and for every single villain that he puts away, about 10 more are waiting, lurking in the shadows to fulfill their vengeful quest with gusto. We've got big, scaly villains, we've got terrifying, nightmarish villains, we've got villains who use their brains over their brawn, and then we've got, those that don't use any sense at all and get completely embarrassed by Batman in mere seconds. Now, I know that this sounds like I'm leading up to talk about Juicy Bruce versus the Electrocutioner, but believe you me, there was actually a fight that was even more deflating, and it happened in the first game that no one ever seems to talk about, and that is Batman's fight with Harley Quinn. Now, Quinn versus Batman was always going to be a bit one-sided, seeing as the Dark Knight has trained for years in several martial arts styles, has an array of gadgets and a genius-level intellect, and Harley has she has a great attitude and a hit TV show. I'm kidding, of course, she can kick ass, but compared to Bruce, not so much. However, I think all of us were a bit disappointed when the conflict between the pair boiled down to, and let me check my Piccolo-based notes here. She backflips towards Batman, gets schooled, takes a breather against a barbed wire metal fence, pretty sure that wasn't meant to be programmed like that, and then she tries again and gets schooled the second time around before being locked away. Good resume. Seriously, Harley's boss fight is a bigger joke than anything the Joker could have come up with. Number 7, Professor NAKAYAMA. Borderlands 2, Sir Hammerlock's Big Game Hunt. Bless Professor NAKAYAMA, he was just never cut out for the wild world of Borderlands, was he? In the lineup of over-the-top boss battles that the series is known for, poor old Pencil Legs over here definitely stands out as the odd one, and the lead-up to his encounter doesn't exactly sell him as a man on the top of his game. Haughty, but altogether alarmed at how quickly you're slicing through his defenses, the good doctor over here eventually is forced into a position where he has to take matters into his own hands. It's a shame that said position is at the top of a flight of stairs. In the short lead up to his literal fall from grace, NAKAYAMA displays a new spine-mounted cannon, and while still looking like a stick figure, does look like he might be able to provide a bit of a challenge. I mean, he's no Beef Gates. Cheers for that, mate. He's no Beef Gates, but still, he looks like he might provide a bit of a challenge, right? Well, that is until he falls down the stairs and dies. Cool. Okay, well, I guess we'll just move on and pretend this never happened, because if he did survive, then he'd surely still likely die of shame, so we're done here. Number 6, The Elusive Man, Mass Effect 2. Now, there are very few video game villains that I want to sock in the mouth as much as I do the elusive man from Mass Effect 2, as while a lot of video game titles will tell you that the big evil in front of you is something that you want to see ended, very few of them will make you want to actually do that, because very few are able to write them in such a way that they get under your skin and live rent-free in your brain. But trust me, the elusive man does just that, because it made me want to throw him headfirst into that dying star that he so loves to use as his personal desktop background. Thanks to the almighty Martin Sheen breathing life into the character, each interaction with the steel-haired hound at the head of Cerberus is a tense exchange of words and wit, and no matter how much it may feel like you're getting one over on this smug prick, he always seems to be just one step ahead of you, and you always leave the conversation on a mission at his behest before realizing, wait, did he just play me? And play you he shall, for this absolute top-tier racist will always find a way to wind his goal of human supremacy into your own quest to rescue the galaxy, and annoyingly he seems to gain more and more power directly in contrast to how close the universe comes to its own doom. Therefore, it's quite reasonable that you would want to wipe this specific Sheen off of the veneers of his smiling, smug face, but unfortunately you only get to meet him once at the end of Mass Effect 3, elusive by name, elusive by nature, it seems. Here, cutscene choices spell his end. Now, to be honest, I'd usually complain about this, but it was actually very fitting to use dialogue choices to finish him off, as this was the same weapon that he wielded against you for nearly 2 whole games at this point. Still, no direct confrontation boss battle, in the traditional sense at least. Number 5, the Mecha of Madness. Alice Madness Returns. So I think at this point in time, stating that Alice Madness Returns is a bit of a weird game is like saying that Mara from the Shin Megami Tensei series is a bit of a penis, a rather massive, throbbing understatement. Yes, I'm still not over last week's episode, my god, the image is burned into my brain. The melting ice cream cock. Taking an already off-the-wall IP like Alice in Wonderland and applying a level of dark fantasy that would make even Tim Burton sweat is always going to be a recipe for oddity. Yet things got even more strange in the boss battle against the Dormouse and the March Hare, thanks to some real-life issues the developer Spicy Horse was facing. By the way, guys, huge fan of your name there. Spicy Horse! That's a spicy horse! Due to budget and time constraints, several sections of the game had to be trimmed or scrapped altogether, and the battle against the Mad Tea Party members was unfortunately one of those that got a rather hefty trim. Yet instead of the boss being trashed altogether, the devs thought that they'd have some fun with this scrapping mechanic and do away with the boss before the battle begins in truly almighty fashion. Rising up in a giant mecha, the pair laugh maniacally at your situation, but just as things look to get kicked off, a giant teapot lands on the device which falls apart and knocks out both enemies, leading to an unexpectedly efficient solution to a real-world problem. Number 4, Sauron, Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor. Now, I know what you're thinking to yourself. Jules, you sack of flour that's had eye holes kicked into them. Yes, you do actually fight the Dark Lord at the end of Shadow of Mordor, so what the piss are you on about, you stupid, fat, ugly idiot? And personal insults aside, yes, you're actually right, mate. This is true. You do get to fight him, but can you really call it a fight? Look at these. No is the answer. No. I say this because the end encounter with the Dark Lord is actually completely counter to the overall tone of the game itself. Thanks to the outstanding Nemesis system, Shadow of Mordor made mini-boss battles feel rich and alive, and thanks to their ever-changing parameters, kept the experience feeling fresh even tens of hours into the experience. So why the hell isn't the title's strongest feature present in this final battle? In place of an enemy that could have studied our actions or called in foes that reflected our prior choices, we got a terribly flat 15-second QTE which felt about as enjoyable as open-mouth kissing the mouth of Sauron. So yeah, thanks, but no thanks. Before we move on to the next entry, James, shag, marry, kill the hobbits. You got Frodo, you got Pippin, and you got from the board game, Fatty Bolger. Fatty Bolger the Hobbit. Go for it, give us your answer.
I'd Gandalf. I'd marry Martin Freeman. And I'd avoid Pippin.
For me, all of them, it's Fatty. Just all of them. The other two can watch. Number 3, General Scales, Star Fox Adventures. Right, so every single time I start thinking about Star Fox Adventures, my blood begins to boil within my very veins before suddenly turning into a thick, black, mopey sludge. And the reason for this is that while I would love to say that this game just infuriates me beyond all rational belief and gets Jeremy poking out over here, the truth is that I'm just so disappointed with it that it bums me out. It was a title that held so much potential, a Star Fox game with a new engine on an at the time new console. It could have been the space shooter for the ages, but instead we got about 10 minutes of flight time and then boots on the ground experience that was an utter slogfest, so much so that it felt like wading through a swamp of what I pray to God is just water, but the stink is making me think otherwise. Nasty. Annoying characters, a clumsy control system, and an elongated escort mission disguised as the main thrust killed my interest in this title so early, it was like it shot me in the face while I was still in the womb. Still, I thought to myself, at least I can just push through this and then be able to kick the piss out of General Scales. You know, the villain that kind of comes to represent all of the problems this game has. AKA it looks weird and sounds weird and just is weird, so yeah, let's kill him. Let's kill him hard. That'll be nice. However, looks like we got a whoops here, guys. Whoops on aisle 3, because you don't actually get to fight him. You do, in a weird way, because the boss battle starts, but he just stands there waiting for you to attack him. He literally won't attack you if you don't do anything. And then as soon as you get your bow staff out to bosh him on the noggin, it goes into a cutscene, and that's the end of the game. You don't ever hit him once. Oh, what's this? Oh, it turns out that it wasn't disappointment after all, and was in fact a deep-seated seething rage. Oh, how fun. Number 2, the GRAVEMIND, Halo 3. Okay, James, it's time to do a bit of role-playing right now. Let's set the scene for Halo. So you've just made your way through the original Halo and have just managed to get the stains out of your shorts, which seem to have materialized right around the same time that the Flood was introduced to ruin everyone's day. You've destroyed the ring harder than if you'd fed it laxatives right before a curry-eating contest, and you are standing proud as the big can of man spam known as Master Chief. Yet what's this? The Flood have a leader, and it's called the GRAVEMIND, and it kind of looks like if Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors was suffering from mange? Okay then, well consider your shorts re-browned and get ready for another Brattle. Seriously, Jane, Brattle. However, alongside some other disappointing aspects of the Halo 2 and 3 storylines, the player never actually gets to fight this colossal coil of evil cunning, and instead simply has to watch the game flush it down the space toilet via a cutscene once a modified Halo ring is activated. Due to the often convoluted plot, it always seemed like the GRAVEMIND would end up being the final boss of the series, but all hopes of a monster versus Metal Man battle were nipped in the bud. And number 1, Victor ZAITSEV, Vanquish. Now, while a lot of the entries on this list around boss battles that were anticlimactic, never got started, or had a cutscene rob player choice away from you, this somehow is even worse, as Victor ZAITSEV from the space sci-fi slide and shoot title known as Vanquish, the perfection that rains down upon me. I love this title so much. He's somehow even more anticlimactic. And why is that? Well, because you don't get to fight him, and he walks away as the literal victor. Damn you! To better explain, as Sam Gideon, you have had one hell of a day. You've boarded a space station which has been turned into an orbital laser weapon, been betrayed by your own forces, and just found out that this coup on the station wasn't actually done by the rascally Russians, as prior believed, but was orchestrated by your own government as a means to start a resource war. Cool! Really looking forward to having that awkward chat when I get home. Cool. Still, at least we can smash old Victor's skull in here for a bit of petty vengeance, right? Wrong. For you see, neither of the 2 battle suits that you face at the end of the game contain him, because he's actually been on his own ship heading back to Earth the entire time. All you do get to battle is what amounts to 2 tin cans of his farts with little pixelated JPEGs of him giving you the finger on the inside. Now, it is a great fight, do not get me wrong, but to stand over these literally hollow empty shells and have the ending say, "Don't worry, you won, you're the good guy, nothing to worry about," it smacks of just lies. It's not true. Damn you, Victor. I'm going to get him one day. I'm going to make Vanquish 2. And it's just going to be 30 hours of me booting him right in the face. Not even Sam Gideon, it's going to be me. Going to be sliding across the floor. I will smoke a cigarette, I'll flick it in his face, and then I'll boot it, turn his face into an ashtray. Peace and love, though, guys. And there we go, my friends. Those were 8 video game enemies you never got to fight. I hope that you enjoyed that, and please let me know what you thought about it down in the comments section below, and put your suggestions for next week's episode down there as well. I love to read all of them. It is an absolute big bless to the community. Big bless to you all. Love you very much. But before I go, I just want to say one thing. I hope you treat yourself well, my friend, with love and respect, because you deserve all of the best things in life, and do not let anything or anyone else tell you otherwise, all right? You are a massive ledge, and I want you to go out there and smash your life goals today. I believe in you. You should believe in yourself too. Big love, all right? So, with that in mind, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Never forget that. I'll speak to you soon. And by the way, if you do want to, we're actually going to be over on the Live and Let's Dice Discord right now for about 30 minutes or so, James and I, assuming he's still alive, of course, and we're just going to be answering your questions, having a little chat, get to meet some like-minded people who like board game stuff and video games, film, TV, whatever else. Come and join the group. It is a great little laugh. But until then, I'll speak to you soon. Peace.